I feel that we can all agree that Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the best TV shows of all time. Doesn't matter if it's animated, doesn't matter live action, CGI animation, whatever it is. It's one of the best television shows, one of the best stories ever created, specifically in the last 25 years.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
Hey, NarendraTheComic here!
Nonsense!
Yes, and right now we're talking about Avatar: The Legend of Aang, and I'm telling you, if you haven't watched this show, go and watch it. It is literally less than 60 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
20-minute episodes. You can get it done over a weekend if you so choose. I wouldn't do it like that.
Yeah, you could. You could bust it, but you know what? I would say savor it.
Savor the story, baby. Take a week, take 2 weeks, take 3 weeks, because I'll tell you, the first 4 or 5 episodes, as an adult, I'm sure they're a bit harder to get into.
Yeah, I mean, we started to watch this when we were kids, when it was first coming out. So, of course, for us, it was the perfect type of media, but it sort of aged up in a very pleasant way.
Yeah.
Not too much, but just enough so that the story was really easily digestible and made you want to keep watching.
And once you get past those first 4 or 5 episodes, it is bang, bang, bang. It improves every single episode.
Yeah.
Till you get to the climax and the finale, which really felt earned. It feels like they did something good, right, proper, not guilty, all the above. And I do feel that most people who watch this, after having a trepidatious approach to it, have their mind changed on watching animated shows as an adult. I've been saying to people during this pandemic stuff, you should watch this. Then they come back to me 4 months later being like, you heard about this show?
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? I heard about this show. I told you to watch it.
Yeah, I remember when it started trending on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I was like, boys, we've been on this. We've been telling people for years that you should watch this. Now suddenly people are like, wow, have you heard about this show? Yes, we have. Yes.
We watched it 16 years ago.
Yeah, I've only watched the show all the way through once. But the amount of detail I can remember about individual characters, individual episodes, it's kind of crazy, especially considering this was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was a flag bearer though. I think it really made you grip onto it and believe this world was real because it's kind of adjacent to our world. And with Netflix making their live action adaptation of it, I kind of thought this could be good.
Yeah.
It could be really bad. The live action film with M. Night Shyamalan was a bit of a sham, to be fair.
It was a sham,
I didn't even get through it. I couldn't get through it. It kind of destroyed the feeling I had towards the entire franchise. But then I just realized, hey, you have the old stuff to go back to.
Yeah.
Same way I feel about Star Wars. I still love the old stuff. I don't know if I'll watch the new stuff that comes out, but even though the sequel trilogy messed me up, I still have the prequels, I still have the original trilogy, I still have the Clone Wars, Rebels, all that stuff. Kind of feeling the same way with this. If this show doesn't hit, I still have the old stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards giving it the benefit of the doubt. But when the original creators stepped away from the Netflix production, alarm bells went a-ringing.
Yeah, guys. These guys were the people who came up with it, who spent years in, you know, the pre-production, figuring out exactly where to source their animators and who they're going to give it to broadcast with Nickelodeon. It takes a lot of time to give away your baby like that. And you have to work hand in hand together. And one of the reasons that ATLA was so good is because they had a clear-cut structure from midway through the first season. They said, okay, I think 2-3 seasons. It's going to be based around different books of the places they're going to be and the elements they're going to be learning. And it was very well done because there was a clear trajectory.
Yeah.
With Legend of Korra, it was a bit more back and forth and the show suffered because of it. But I think with the live-action version, the more I find out about it, the less enthralled I am, honestly.
Something that I think we loved about the show and something that inspired us a lot was specifically the storytelling elements, was the full circleness of it. Kind of like Harry Potter in some ways.
Yeah.
That's why that book and those films had such a cultural moment, because there was something inherently unique and something inherently real about it, even though it's fantasy. With this show, it has the potential to be the same, but with the stuff that's being said, with the castings that's coming out, I'm not sure if I like it. And we both agree here, and we've said it before and we'll say it again. Casting for anything is generally okay. You can cast most people in most character roles.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But if the character is very linked to one culture, if it's very linked to a race or a religion, then you should cast someone within that rubric. I think for every other character, if it doesn't impact those specific things, cast anyone.
Yeah.
Does Rhodey need to be black? No. He can be Asian if you want. He is black. He can be Asian. Does Tony need to be white? Not really.
No.
Not really. Does Captain America need to be white? Probably.
The original Captain
The original,
America,
Steve
Steve
Rogers. Does he need to be white? Yes.
Yeah.
Does Black Panther need to be black?
Yes.
Does he need to be African? Yes. That's just how it goes. Does Shang-Chi need to be Chinese? Yes. So there are these things which you kind of understand. Sometimes it makes sense to maybe spice it up, and sometimes it's like, don't do it. I think this was a case of don't be playing stupid games, because you get to the point of, wait, you can just replace Asians with other Asians and it's completely inconsequential? No. Because the creators of this show were super specific with who they created the characters for, what cultures they were based off of. And when you look at it, who was the Fire Nation based off of?
It was meant to be Japan.
There you go. Basic stuff. It's not going too far. It's not a stretch.
No.
It's saying no. Ozai. Iroh.
Yeah.
Azula. The odd one out here is Zuko, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's a Chinese name if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, but even as kids, there was some understanding that the Fire Nation was based on Japan because of Japanese colonialism.
Imperialism.
And the way that the Fire Nation was an archipelago full of volcanoes, kind of like Japan. And the general dresses and stuff, I always linked it with Japan in my head. Obviously, there were other Southeast Asian cultural elements with like the pointy shoulders that came
Very
from
Indonesian
and Thai and things like that. They did pick bits from here and there. But the Fire Nation, my guys, I'm quite sure are meant to be Japanese.
The Earth Nation, who they meant to be?
They're meant to be Korean/Chinese, I think.
I think I'd lean more Chinese, but you could maybe include Korean in there.
Because of some of the dresses that they wear.
Maybe you could do that. Because it's the biggest landmass, it's based in Asia, you have the Water Nation, they're Inuit people essentially, North Pole, South Pole, and then you have the Air Temple, who were basically Wanderers, Tibetan, or Nepalese. That's what they are. That's how they structured this show. No one can convince me otherwise, because it's practically fact.
Yeah.
It's opinionated fact by me.
Yeah.
Now I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Guys, it really is. The only South Asian character I can remember was Guru Partik, and he was the one guy in the whole show who had an Indian accent, an actual accent where everyone else just had American accents.
They went in though. They went in. They wanted to differentiate him. They wanted to be like, he's special, banana, and... No spoiling.
No spoilers.
No spoiling. No spoiling. But with the show, they've just announced a bunch of castings, and I'll tell you, it leads me to being confused. Because seemingly, they've cast the younger characters, and I'm fine with the way they've cast them, right? They've cast Aang, Katara, Sokka, but the Fire Nation is based on Japan. Which is why we get into the problem areas of Daniel Day Kim being Fire Lord Ozai. Now, if you don't know the history between Japan and Korea, it's a fiery one, to say the least.
It's a lot of tension that's still there between Japanese people and Korean people. So to cast a Korean guy as someone who is like the head Japanese colonizer in this world, it's not a good move, guys.
It's a bit weird. And from the other castings, it kind of makes it seem like they're kind of taking the Japaneseness out of it, and they're casting the Fire Nation as Chinese and Korean, because they just announced Iroh, and it's one of the characters from Kim's Convenience. He plays like the dad or something, and he's also Korean, I believe.
Okay, I'm not sure about this.
As well as that, they've cast Monk Gyatso.
Oh, yeah?
He's Chinese or Singaporean, as in the actor is Chinese or Singaporean.
Okay.
And then there's Commander Zhao, who is basically in charge of one sect of the military or something.
Yeah, he's a naval officer.
And he's Chinese cast in this show. So I'm confused as to how you can just chop and change, going from this culture is a Japanese culture. Yes, Zuko might be the one name that stands out en masse to say that's Chinese, but overall, the Fire Nation is Japanese. So why aren't you casting Japanese people in it? It's a Japanese culture. What are you going to do to differentiate between the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation? Because you can't, because they're all culturally going to be the same.
Guys, you can't just switch up Asians when you feel like it.
No, you can if the race and culture of the person is irrelevant to the story.
Yes.
But if it is completely necessary and it's part of the intrinsic value of the story, you can't do it.
No, guys, you really can't. It sets a really poor precedent. The thing about ATLA is that it never felt tokenizing, but when you start blurring all Asians being the same together, it's tokenizing.
It's a terrible idea. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know why they would do it. Are you telling me in the 40 million people in Japan, as well as the other Japanese expats all across the world, they couldn't find someone? There are tons of unbelievable Japanese actors out there.
Yeah, guys.
Don't try. And for me, I don't really see Daniel Day Kim as Ozai.
Daniel Day Kim has a very kindly face.
He's a nice guy.
Is so intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, even as I see clips as an adult, I'm like, oh shit, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him.
I said I can see Daniel Day Kim playing the Swordmaster.
Master Parku.
I could see him playing him. Kind, friendly, but intense.
Yes.
I can see that. I don't see him as Ozai.
No.
But I will say, the person who they did cast as Iroh, I kind of see the Iroh in him.
I haven't heard his voice, but I see the Iroh.
I see the Iroh, but I do think it's a weird casting, specifically because of the Japanese and Korean history. But at the end of the day, it's what they've done. We can't change it, you can't change it, and nor should we want to change it. We can just say our opinion.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird thing.
It is, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Ozai himself gonna come after you. You don't want that. No, you really don't. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic.
I've been on Sensei.
She's been on Sensei. You've been Grand. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 1,000 days now. We ain't stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content, because we're hashtag never know here. Just like goes. Also bring the pugwas means nonsense in Punjabi. And we also bring that. Bring a lot. Bring a little, do a lot, do a little. But we do indeed bring the quality shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more, see you then. Skadoosh.